Let's fucking go. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. Wow, what a weekend. And also joining me behind all the controls, we have Leo. Leo,
what's up,
going on,
man? How
What's
you
going
doing?
on, man?
Well, early Monday. Kind of almost
Monday,
managed to
yeah.
forget to open the door for you today.
Even the screen door was locked. I was like,
I didn't have a lot of
I
people
don't
coming
know.
in and out of the house through the front door at least. I use the garage mainly a
Is
lot of
that
the
it?
time. Yeah.
All right, man. So much going on in the world right now. Important shit, trivial shit, but a lot of shit. Just a lot, man. I'm actually, I don't know if I could say that I'm surprised. I am disappointed. Seeing what people were saying on Friday about Trump's meeting with Putin was very disheartening because I still can't get past this thing where it feels like so many Americans, so-called Americans, are rooting against the country, rooting against the president, rooting for him to fail, calling something a failure that wasn't a failure at all. Do we not want to end these wars? You know, I did a video actually on TikTok and X. You can pull either one. You can pull it up on either one. It's probably the last thing that I posted. Yeah. Did I did post it, and I just came home last night after dinner, and I wanted to wait a couple days. I didn't want to chime in. Yeah, there it is. I didn't want to chime in. There's my little two bobbleheads, too. When I'm talking political stuff, I'm going to throw those guys out there now or something. So funny. Reagan and Trump, baby. But I wanted to wait a couple days. I wanted to see what more filtered out about the meeting. You know, because like Marco Rubio he talked on Maria Bartiromo's show yesterday morning, things like that. Listening to other people, because we didn't get a lot on Friday. We didn't get a lot after their meeting. They both talked at the press conference. Some people aren't even calling it a press conference because they didn't take questions, which people acknowledge as being unusual for both presidents. Both presidents like to talk and take questions.
Yeah.
But I think there was a reason for that, so that you weren't trying to manipulate each other in the media afterwards, immediately right then. Because we know how it all blew up with Zelensky when he was here back in February, and you know that didn't go well, right? It just didn't go well. And the president didn't like it, and he snapped back at him. I think rightfully so. I mean, look, Trump keeps repeating this, and it does bear repeating. This is not our motherfucking war. This is not, but we've made it our war. When you supply the amount of money and weapons that we have to that country, you're making it your war. And Trump is trying to back us out of that. And also at the same time, save lives. It was real interesting. Bill Maher on his show, one of the things that he commented and said that he knows, and he referred to it, he referred to his meeting with Trump, basically, and something that he really believes. And it's interesting that he can believe it. that he doesn't let hatred block himself, you know, from trying to at least understand the president. What he said was he believes Trump hates war, like literally hates war. And that there's nothing fake about it. He doesn't like war, doesn't like the killing. And I don't know if we could, you would think nobody would like that. But
The war and
what
killing, yeah.
but what do we have if they sure seem like they do. Do you hear the like little roll in the background?
The little
You don't get
like static
something,
almost.
yeah, something.
Yes, I don't.
It's only when I talk it. If I stop,
It goes away.
it fades. Yeah.
I also hear that. That's what I've been kind of
Okay.
staring off into the distance. I'm not sure if it's because all the wires are so close together, because that is possible.
Is it terrible?
It annoys the fuck out of me. I don't know how many people are gonna pick it up, but it annoys the fuck out of me.
All right. Well, we can take a minute and pause and
Yeah, we can.
see what you can do with that. That's all right. I'll get back to it.
Because but it's only when you talk, not when I talk. Because it's not there when I'm talking, right?
You want me to come sit over there?
What the fuck? Maybe the mic is just like unplugged.
Is it plugged in? Well, we got a lot of them. So I bought 3 new hats. You see my new hat in the video. The brand is called Lost Calf. Lost Calf is the name of the brand. But you're going to like it. That one I wore in this video, you can't see the top of the bill, but it's very what I call Era Mexico. Yeah, Era Mexico. It's got Arizona, Mexico vibes.
Fixed it?
I think that's it. What did you do?
The wires. It's sometimes it's because I think the copper inside of different wires, if they're too close together, like it will create static.
No idea. Good job, man.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I just didn't want to get up while you were talking and start moving shit
No,
around.
we just stop, man. We could just stop so we could make it better.
You want me to just restart completely?
No, we don't have to restart completely. We're good.
All right. We were back on camera.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
No
at
static.
It. No static.
I'm not gonna lie, that it was about to start infuriating me. I was about to get really mad.
I was dealing with it, and I was like, "Do I want to deal with it?"
No, we did. I was just waiting for you to like sneeze or something so I can go over there and start moving things. Oh man.
So
it's so much better. It's so annoying.
I know. This is crazy what we do.
A simple wire.
Simple wire.
Move it a few inches to the left and you're fine.
You know what I also did in this video that we can play some of is
definitely.
I did a comparison of the numbers, and I used the AIs to draw information together that was, you know, it's all in how you ask AI. It's all in
100%.
how you ask something is so important. But that I wanted all available, best information, most reliable, you know, to get the broadest spectrum that we could to get because it was just going to be a guess or estimate, because different countries and different organizations have, well, they come up with their own numbers. They have their own, they're looking out for a certain interest and trying to portray things in a certain way. with death numbers, with injury numbers, with civilian casualties, and that whole thing. So they do that. And I wanted the best we could come up with, and I think we got some pretty good answers. I didn't include it on here. I could have, I guess, provided links to what the sources were, but I do talk about some of the sources. So some of the sources are from the West, some of them are from the UN, some are from each of the individual countries, but I try to give both sides so that people can get at least a rough idea of whatever the range is of what might be happening over there with the deaths. And there's this great push, right, to end there just seems to be a bigger push to end the war between Israel and the Palestinians in Gaza. That's a war they want to end. They want Israel out of there. They want that to end.
A lot of political influence over there.
Yes. But why isn't there the same push? Because they call it, one side likes to call it a genocide. I will not call it a genocide. But they're using those kinds of words and rhetoric. And there is a slight difference because of civilians versus military. But in just talking about human life and the value of human life, you want that war to end, but there's maybe 5 times or more than the number of deaths from both sides in Israel and the Palestinians. Combine them together. There's at least over 5 times that number probably in what we have in Ukraine and Russia.
Yeah.
5 times. So if you truly care about human life and saving human life and ending the suffering, why aren't you for ending this war? Why aren't you rooting for the president to get results and get the two sides together?
Not as much political influence, I guess.
But see, the thing is, it's all about the other side wanting to use it for political advantage. They want to, this didn't go well, this is this. And it was way too early to say any of that kind of stuff. They're going to look like they have egg on their face later because it's not going to work out like that. It almost never does.
But isn't it more convenient for, I guess we're talking about the people, not the actual president. Are we talking about the people in power, or are we talking the people, like the general people?
The Democrats that are interested in that.
Like civilians.
Politicians,
civilians.
And some civilians, because a lot of civilians, honestly, don't give 2 shits. Because they're not paying attention.
Yeah, if we're talking political, people, like in the political scene, I feel like it's more convenient to allow Russia to do whatever they're going to be doing. Like, because it's being an ally of Russia would be a lot more beneficial than being an ally to the Palestinians or the.
Well, they want to be an ally to the Ukrainians, though.
Yeah. I mean, you know how the political games work, but like in that area, I feel like it's more so like by keeping it more low key, keep it out of the news, keep it out of the explosion of, hey, look at what's going on. They can kind of get away with a few more things, or at least organize it without showing as much chaos. Because like that's the whole thing with like the Palestine and all that stuff is it's just like constantly on the news and like.
Exactly my point.
So you're able to take.
They want that war to end, but the other one, they don't. They want us to get even more involved than we are now.
Yeah.
And we are very, very fucking involved. I think most people aren't aware of things that you and I talked about months ago, that when there was a time when Ukraine was shooting certain longer range missiles into Russia, that they couldn't do that on their own. They could only do that with the help of somebody from the United States or potentially a NATO member.
Yeah.
That they didn't have the knowledge or wherewithal to shoot it off and have it be precise.
Accurate, yeah.
They could just shoot it off, but they could not have it be accurate, very specific to make sure that you're not targeting civilians, other things like that.
Yeah.
And to me, when we cross that line and we're doing that, that's basically us pulling the trigger on Russia. And I'm like, oh, this feels way too close, man. I'm not afraid of Russia. I'm not afraid of Russia. So what? I don't want a war with Russia. I just don't. And these people immediately came out as soon as, all day on Friday. Trump rolled out the red carpet. He shook his hand. He put his hand on top of Putin's hand, and he's just normalizing this criminal, this warmonger. Motherfuckers, every dictator is. Every fucking dictator. I posted a picture. I've been posting another picture on X about President Obama. And I posted the picture of Obama. Yeah, there you go. And in the comments, because I do talk about a handshake, and somebody goes, that's not a handshake. Yeah, well, I posted a picture of a handshake down further somewhere in there. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know why it's not showing it. But I did post a picture under that post of a handshake. And multiple times in multiple different locations. Yeah, there you go. There's one handshake. And there's ones that look even more. Now that's Raul Castro. And this is
That's
first.
Castro? God, he's aged like crazy.
Well, that's his brother.
Oh, his brother. Okay.
This is Raul. He took over. He's dead.
Dead, right? Okay, yeah. Okay.
This is his brother. But that was the first time since like at 59, whatever year it was
when
that happened
down,
with Cuba, that a U.S. president met with and talked to the Cuban dictator.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And look at he's smiling there as he's holding up his hand. That looks pretty friendly. I mean, it's weird that his hand is limp.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But, pictures can capture dumb things.
Yeah, no, but
I acknowledge
one's
that.
More of a
but yeah, so
that's funny. That's genuinely funny to me.
But I'm thinking, would they say the same things? Because these people hate Russia and they hate Putin.
Mm-hmm.
Would they say the same thing if Trump had a meeting in Alaska or somewhere else that was a U.S. territory, state, and met with President Xi of China? How many of his own people has he killed? Lots.
A lot.
Right? Would they say the same things about him? But we still have to deal with those countries and those people. And they may be as bad as people think they are.
Or probably even worse.
Or probably even worse.
Yeah. But still got to get
But what are we
business
supposed
done.
to do? What are we supposed to do?
Gotta get business
Are
done.
we supposed to withdraw? You said we were protectionists and we're withdrawing and we don't, not out in the world. Well, Trump is willing to fucking meet with literally anyone. Literally anyone. Especially if there's the potential of solving an issue or making some kind of a deal that would be beneficial to the United States. Or in this case, it's just humanity. It's our bank account. It would be beneficial to our bank account if this got resolved. But more than that, it's the toll on human life that Trump really, honestly, I really believe that he cares about. But why would he met with, remember in his first term, he met with Kim, North Korea.
I do remember that, actually.
It was a big deal, dude.
That was a huge deal, actually, when it did happen, yeah.
I mean, we can't just always send over Dennis Rodman. Okay? I know Dennis Rodman and he have a really good relationship, but he can't be our envoy.
Our speaker for the U.S.
or ambassador. Probably not. I'm not sure that would be a good look. But if Trump thought it would help, he would bring him along.
He would definitely do it, 100%.
I could see if the foreign leader say, hey, do you mind bringing Dennis with you? I really like Trump would ask. He don't give a shit. He just wants the deal. He just wants the meeting, wherever it is. Why is that a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. The red carpet, don't get your panties up in a bunch over a red carpet and then not acknowledge that what the president really did is most of the time these types of meetings take place at some type of resort place. This took place on our motherfucking Air Force base up there.
Is that where it was?
Yes.
I knew it was in Alaska, but I wasn't sure exactly where it was at.
Yes, and a very important Air Force base. And they timed this perfectly, okay? Because remember, Trump's wants to be like a dictator. He wants to show off the military. That's why he had the parade. Because that's what foreign dictators do. That's what foreign dictators understand, man. They're displaying their power for a reason.
Yeah. And
Trump decided to play their game. Have a parade of his own. You can say whatever you want about it. All right.
Well, but he hit.
But there's another reason. There's another deeper reason. People are writing it off as almost being artificial, and it's not. Because if that were true, then why would he have the fighter jets flanking the B-2 stealth bomber fly over Trump and Putin as they're walking down the red carpet, taking Putin by surprise, where Putin has to
double check,
look up
and see what's actually going on,
and see what the fuck is going on, dude. Right?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
I haven't seen anything of it, by the way. So.
All right. So I'm telling you, it was a total flex. It was a total flex. And even if you don't like Trump,
you can respect the
Can you at least acknowledge that was a flex? And he's not bending at the knee of Putin. And as I understand it, after the meeting, Trump initially was talking about a ceasefire.
Okay.
And then he changed his mind.
Trump did.
Trump changed his mind during the meeting that we should skip the ceasefire and jump straight to trying to get a peace deal done.
Yeah. Okay.
And laid the groundwork for that. Listening to what the other side wants. Zelensky gets to come today and tell the president what he wants. And the president's trying to move each side a little closer. And ultimately, neither side will be happy. If you have a good deal, neither side will be happy. Russia won't get all the land they want, and maybe Ukraine is going to have to give up land that they don't want to give up land. But here's the thing. Some of the land that Ukraine doesn't want to give up, they already did. They gave up Crimea during the Obama administration. And now Zelensky is acting like for there to be a peace deal, we need to get that back. Dude, you haven't had shit to do with Crimea for 12 motherfucking years. You lost it. You lost it. If you go on vacation and I take over your house, I'm a squatter.
Yes.
If I squat in your house for 12 years, guess who fucking won? Me.
I think it's less than that now, is it not?
I don't know.
In the state of Arizona,
crazy,
I think it's like if you're doing it for I want to say 12 months.
They have crazy laws.
It's so stupid. How the fuck does that
I
work? Why does that work? It's like
I don't understand
if you can camp out for long enough, you can own the house. Like what the fuck?
Well, and if you can camp out long enough, you can own part of a country.
Yeah.
But they did invade there. They did take it, and life went on after that. No more land. They didn't try to take any more land when Trump was president, but after Trump left, they tried again.
Yeah.
And there was a chance, people forget, there was a chance within the first 10 days of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, just like recently with India and Pakistan, where tensions flared for a number of days, and then they shut that down, okay? There was a chance to do the same thing with Russia and Ukraine, and they walked away. The Ukrainian side walked away, or our side pushed Ukraine to walk away from settling the matter right then, and then it's only got worse since then. But let's play the video so we can get the numbers out there. Let's talk about, the numbers and the number of deaths. And again, I want to compare this to however you feel about Israel. And again, however you feel about Russia, how I feel about Ukraine, how I feel about Hamas and the Palestinians. We have all these views out there. The thing is, we should still come together on wanting there to be peace and for the killing to stop. That's what we should all be rooting for. And I can't imagine. I didn't like Biden, okay? But had nowhere near the level of hatred for Biden that they have for Trump. I would have, maybe it would be begrudgingly giving him credit, but if he had solved either war, I would have given him credit. Well, it's no different than Obama. Do you think I wouldn't rather it have been a Republican president that took out Osama bin Laden?
Yeah.
I kind of would have rather that be that, but it wasn't. It was Obama. And there was actually years and years ago, you might be too young to know this, that there was actually a time before all this bad shit happened, right? That there was a time when we had special forces, we had people that had him
in the line of sight.
He was dead. And I'm talking dead. And they couldn't find Clinton to get the okay.
I remember watching a podcast.
And I actually talked to one of the Secret Service members who wrote a book. He used to come on my show, my radio show back in Toledo, that he used to carry the nuclear football. And so he talked about times when Clinton wasn't available. Gotcha. And there's at least, no matter what a president's doing, no matter who he's fucking or getting a blowjob from, there's always supposed to be somebody that can get to the president because the president is always on call the whole time he's president, 24/7. You don't get a timeout. The world doesn't give it to you. But he took one, and we missed an opportunity there. And we may have missed other opportunities. Maybe Bush missed opportunities. I don't know. I don't remember hearing about any, but Obama did pull when he had the chance. We pulled the trigger and got it done. And I give him a credit to this day. I never badmouthed him about that. Why would I? It was good for America that guy be eliminated. Despite everything that happened prior to that, us funding the Taliban years before in the fight against Russia, things change. He needed to be gone. He was a threat to the world, and Obama ended that threat. And that can never be taken away from Obama ever. We can maybe say other things about Obama and his presidency, but not that time. You got to be able to do that. And I really feel like right now that there is absolutely nothing this president could ever do.
Trump?
Nothing. I mean, we joke about the if he cured cancer thing, but I'm not joking. If he somehow contributed or was a catalyst, contributed to, somehow ended cancer, because maybe there was some research that wasn't being funded and he thought it was the most promising research, so he told his people to direct more funding to that particular research, and it worked. The scientists should get most of the credit, but the president's going to claim some credit there too. These people would never give him credit for it, no matter, just literally nothing. If we do get peace, in Russia, they will want, between Russia and Ukraine, they will want to give credit
to Putin,
to
Zelensky,
to everybody but Trump. Well, this wouldn't have been done if Zelensky hadn't brought these other heads of state with him, because Trump would have ran over him, and they kept Trump. So they should really deserve credit for this getting done. Trump's the one that brought them all together. I listened to Marco Rubio. He's like, you people have no idea what's going on in the background. We're the ones that talk to these foreign. They're making it sound like Zelensky was afraid to come here without these other foreign leaders from Europe. And it's not the case at all. We invited them. Our government invited them. Hey, you're a part of this too. We want you to be a bigger part of this, okay, because of certain guarantees that need to be worked out to protect Ukraine. If a deal is worked out, you need to be a part of that. Just like Ukraine has to be in the room when the final deal is done with Russia. But there are steps to it. Trump just made the first step. And even if it turns out it's not yet, even if it did turn out to be a failure, I appreciate that we have a president that's trying to end it, because Biden didn't try to end it. He didn't. Nor did he try to end the war in Israel. I mean, we've seen moments where President Trump has not been happy with Benjamin Netanyahu and, some of the strikes they made at certain points in time. And that was real. Maybe he shouldn't have shown that, but he did. He really wants to. You never saw Biden do any of that. You think Biden could flex on Benjamin Netanyahu? Are you kidding me? But Trump can. He can flex on him. I just don't understand the rooting for your own power is so important to you that you want American failure. That's so terrible, man. That's so you just have no ideas. Come up with some ideas. I keep saying let's listen. Let's listen to some of the videos so we get to some of these numbers. Hey guys, I wanted to share something with you tonight, give you a little bit more perspective about what's been going on with Ukraine and Russia, and also do a comparison with Israel and Gaza, Hamas, the war there as well, and just do some comparisons, because it seems to me that there's a group of people in this country, for whatever reason, that want to see the Ukraine-Russia war continue, which I think is absolutely insane. But the war in Israel and, the Palestinians, they want that to end, but not the other war? Let me ask you, how many people do you think have died? Well, let me give you the quick breakdown numbers. This is, I did a tremendous amount of, I put in the research and got all the best available numbers. And again, these are just estimates, the best available estimates done by the various different bodies, by the countries. Some groups have an interest in inflating some numbers, keeping other numbers down, but this is the best we have. All right. So this is going to be a clear breakdown for you. And I have no agenda on giving you or, compromising with any of these numbers. So I wanted to know what the true cost of this is, both in terms of lost life and in terms of monetary terms, financial terms as well. We're going to start with Ukraine, Russia, which started in February of 2022. Now, what a lot of people don't know, and I didn't remember actually, but in doing this, it came to my attention. There was a time about 10 days into the Ukraine-Russia war where it could have been stopped, and it wasn't. Do you know who threw a wrench in that so that it didn't stop? The Biden administration. You can fact check that all you want. So total deaths from the Ukraine-Russia war is 500,000 to 600,000 overall, between 500,000 and 600,000. That's both military and civilian. Now, in this particular war, it is more military deaths than civilian. A lot of young men. In Ukraine, This is based on UN numbers, 13,900 civilians. July being the highest month recently with 286. Military killed over since 2022 when it started, somewhere between 60 and 100,000. So very large number for them, but even more for Russia. 650 civilians killed. So not as many civilians, but military 200 to 250,000. That's Western estimates, like the United States, our CIA or whoever's given the estimates, right? That's the West's numbers. And the Ukraine claims higher numbers for Russian military deaths, as much as a million deaths. We know it's a lot, but think about that. That's huge. Compare that with the conflict between the Palestinians and Israel in Gaza, 63,500 overall. Overall, both Israel and Palestinian deaths, civilian and military. We're talking 10 times that number in Ukraine and Russia. And we don't want to stop that war. Why are some people against stopping the war in Ukraine and Russia? Why are people rooting against the president of the United States trying to stop that war? I don't believe that him attempting, however he decides to attempt, and what he's been doing since he's been in office to end it, I don't believe that's a bad thing. We should be cheering that on. We shouldn't be putting negative spins on this for political purposes, which is all it is. It's just for political purposes. And it's absolutely terrible for Americans, so-called Americans, to be rooting against a president, our president, whether you voted for him or not, to be trying to stop this war. Yeah, we can cut it right there. That's pretty good. That gives the idea, the overall point I was trying to make. Man, 600,000, man. Can you imagine that? What would we do in this country if we lost the same number that they lost in Israel and the Palestinian conflict, 60,000? We'd freak the fuck out, dude. Freak out. The American public would be in the streets, man.
Not wrong.
God bless that we haven't,
experienced something like that.
Had war like that on
U.S. soil,
on our soil with the foreign enemy like that. That's insane.
I mean, kind of sad to say, but that'd probably be one of the only things that kind of really fully unites the U.S. people.
Well, it could be true. I just don't.
I know I definitely don't wish it upon the U.S. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, I get that. X is such a shithole sometimes, and right now it is. It really is. You almost feel like you got to get off of X and give yourself a little breather so you don't think the world's going to end.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The shit is so over the top.
Yeah.
The craziest shit that people will say. I don't know. I want this to end. I think the president is trying to make it happen the best he can. And maybe he's doing it differently than the way protocol or procedure has been done in the past. But he seems to be really good at it. He seems to, that eventually the two people in charge got to make a decision. Or the three people in charge got to make a decision, right?
Yeah.
Instead of letting all the lower levels argue with each other and try to work it out, and then you bring the big guys in to like finish it off. Trump's doing it in reverse. he's trying to come together with a framework or an idea that the most important people, the decision makers, can agree on, and then the smaller details, let them work out after that.
Yeah.
But then they're going to work it out. They're going to figure it out because the decision makers already decided that it's going to happen. So now your job is to finish it off and make it happen, right? And that's not a bad way to go. It's not a bad way to do things. It's not. And it's okay to meet with Zelensky by himself. It's okay to meet with European leaders. It's okay to meet with Putin. They don't all have to be together every single meeting. This is multiple meetings going on with multiple people. The president's people have been going and been in contact with both sides nonstop. Just because you don't see it in the news, it's not always a story every day when they communicate to each other, especially when you have other parties communicating with each other. And I just mean lower level politicians, or people like the head of the State Department, Marco Rubio, and having these kinds of people. Steve Witkoff, who's a big part of this, he's like one of Trump's main people negotiating fucking everywhere and everything. And he's had multiple meetings. Well, every meeting by Steve Witkoff is not dissected in the media. Many of them are, but not every one. And that's just my point. There is so much going on that sometimes we just need to wait. We just need to just absorb it and say, you know what? I'm hoping for the best here. I'm hoping that there's a breakthrough here that the president can have, that he can get these sides together. It's okay to be an opposition party, to oppose the other side. It's totally okay. But it's also okay, especially things this important, to root for the president, whoever he is, to be successful. It's just good for all Americans, man. Okay? This is what we do live, folks. I don't know how Joe Rogan does it, people. I've said that before. I don't, man. I don't know if that dude has a catheter hooked up to himself. I got to be careful how much I drink in the morning before I do the show, because my bladder has a capacity for about an hour and a half is like gets to my max. And that's if I'm sitting, if I'm out somewhere, if I'm driving, it doesn't matter. It's been that way for a while, so it's not just because I'm old. I'm sure being old contributes to that for sure. But, so, yeah, what I see, let's see, what was this morning, which I mentioned, Trump appeared to place the onus of ending the war on the Ukrainian leader. Said Ukraine should give up Crimea and its hopes for joining NATO. Key Kremlin demands. And they don't have Crimea now. And part of the reasons that I actually believe are legitimate, that we are where we are today, is because Russia was concerned about Ukraine becoming a NATO member. And we can maybe offer some guarantees. And I think we did offer them some guarantees when they gave up some years ago, when they gave up their nuclear weapons.
Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we owe that to them to do that. But no way in hell should we allow them into NATO.
Oh, I do remember that. That was like almost a year ago, right? When they were talking about having Ukraine join NATO.
They've been talking about it for a minute.
But when it like blew up in the news, like they were, yeah.
And that's never been the position of the United States, and it's not the position now, nor should it be. Well, I take that back. It might have been where it was at least a consideration under the Biden administration.
Gotcha.
But even they didn't want to go full all into that.
Yeah.
Because it's not a good thing. And so, again, guarantees instead of joining NATO are reasonable. But asking them to give up Crimea, we're just asking them to give up the idea of Crimea, as I said. They don't have it now. They didn't have it when this current conflict started. They lost it a long time ago. A long time ago. So I don't really think that's crazy. So it's going to be whether or not today things can be pushed together, pulled together, not pushed together, pulled together. And then Trump will go back and lean on Putin too. Obviously, he was willing to come to the table when he wasn't previously. And it has to be for two reasons. Economically, they're in a tough place. And then also manpower. There's only so many men you can pull out of the homes. And then when you force people, these men in this war for Russia are not volunteering. They're being brought in. So we have, what's playing in, what else is playing?
Oh, I have this over here. I don't think it's not getting picked up by the mic, so.
Okay,
yeah.
Just me?
Yeah, you can hear that?
Uh-huh.
Oh. Can't hear it in the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have it pulled up just in
Yeah,
case,
you
like
have it pulled
issues
up,
or
yeah.
whatever.
So that's where I'm going to leave that. Let's just wait and see. And let's not be assholes. Let's support the president getting this resolved. That's all. Just root for the best for the country. Don't be a dick. So, finish with something stupid. Let's finish with something stupid that we talked about the other day. The other day we talked about the Minnesota Vikings added 2 male cheerleaders to the team. Now, these male cheerleaders were effeminate. Their outfits weren't traditional male cheerleader type outfits, which I consider to be sleeveless shirts, more of a muscle type shirt. Yep. And like but not a tank top, but more of a muscle type shirt. The sleeves
like a jersey almost.
Like a jersey, tight.
Yeah.
Right? And they're usually very fit and muscular even. They're athletic. And then a jogging pant that goes along with it. Yeah. That's typically been male cheerleader attire. And I don't have any problems with male cheerleaders in that respect. You know, they had their own thing. They usually were the ones that picked up the big cones and yelled through the cones, you know. They would do some of the things the female cheerleaders would do, but they weren't trying to act or dance like total chicks. Yeah.
The other thing that I learned that I didn't know when we first originally talked about it is not only are they cheerleaders on the squad, it's a lead. Like, it's their main cheerleader on the Vikings. So I read into it a little bit more. It's not only are they on the cheerleading squad, but they're actually the lead cheerleader on the squad.
One of them?
Yeah, the Vikings one, the blonde.
Well, there's 2 of them.
Yeah, but the blonde hair one, that guy's actually a lead.
He's like the captain of the cheerleaders?
He's the captain, basically, yeah.
So a dude is a captain of the cheerleaders.
Yep. I do remember because I was really interested in like the whole thing because, like, again, like that's just not a very common thing. And I went to go read it, and it was he's actually the lead cheerleader. Now, he's not just a cheerleader; he's the lead cheerleader.
I gotta wonder how the women really honestly feel.
It's interesting, yeah.
And think about it. Here's my thought on it. They're not going to tell the truth about it,
no,
and be able to stay on the team. They could quit and say how they feel about it. Mm-hmm. But they can totally dislike it, but yet they want to stay on the team more than they want to rock the boat.
About it, yeah.
And I think that's probably the position of more of them than not.
I probably agree with that. Yeah, especially after reading that there were, like, it's one thing to have a male cheerleader in the group, it's another thing for them to come in and just be the straight up leader.
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Because I could be completely wrong on the perspective of cheerleaders in the NFL,
especially if they haven't been on the team before.
Exactly, and that was my.
How did you earn it?
Exactly. So I can understand you. You're like a well-known cheerleader, a lot of accolades, all this and that. But if you're just coming in and they're just.
So I have a question for you.
What's up?
So did you read enough? Did you find out? Did the guy have some experience for choreography?
Don't believe so. I could be wrong, but
because to me, then, like if he was an expert, but usually that's what your coach is for, right?
Mm-hmm.
The choreography. But if he was really experienced in choreographing routines for other dance groups, whatever, you know what I'm saying? That he would have a resume, because he doesn't have the experience with the team. He didn't earn it with the team. So what did he have outside the team that they thought was so valuable? And was he that much better than all the other? He was the top one. The top one. During performances, they get ratings, because they have tryouts, right? They have tryouts.
Yeah.
And he was the top rated one during tryouts. Otherwise, how do you determine who gets to be the captain if it's not based on who's the best, who has the most experience, or you got to use things like that? Am I totally?
No, I get what you're saying. I actually don't remember whether or not. But I'm actually really intrigued now. Because I do remember reading that and going, oh, that kind of changes. Because for me, it was like, oh, male cheerleader, he's being flamboyant, whatever. I don't really pay attention too much about them. But it does change the whole dynamic of because that's a good question you bring up. Like, how do the female cheerleaders feel about that? Like, is it he's just coming in and just kind of taking over just because of like public, like it's obviously like team's gonna get. Because what did they say? There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're gonna get heat for a little bit, but you're bringing in a lot more attention to the Vikings. So like, you kind of like have that trade off a little bit. So I am actually kind of curious on what, like, if you were to go and interview the cheerleaders and stuff like that, what their honest opinion would actually be about that situation.
And then now, and we speculated at the time, because like I said, they were effeminate, but they were men. These men did not identify. They didn't identify as trans.
Mm-hmm.
At least we don't think so, and I really don't, because that was not said anywhere, and they're not dressed like that in any way. They have, again, effeminate qualities, but not like what we said, oh my God. And now we have it with the Carolina Panthers. We actually have a black trans woman cheerleader.
Justine Lindsay.
Yeah, what do we know about her?
So made history in 22 when she was hired by the Carolina Panthers and became the first transgender cheerleader in the NFL.
I didn't even know this. This has been 3 years.
Been 3 years. After 3 seasons, she's moving on.
So there actually was, and I can't believe that nobody talked about it over these last 3 years.
So it's probably just being brought up because of the whole male cheerleader situation thing, maybe?
Yeah. Because now she's not on the team. She was on the team for 3 years.
And then she's moving on, yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I'm not sure how I would feel about that if that was my team.
I mean, no one seemed to notice. So, I mean, for 3 years, no one seemed to really care.
Yeah. Yeah, but when you're in the stands, can you really even tell?
That was my whole thing, right? Is like, that was my whole perspective about the whole Vikings thing, right? Is like, I mean, when I'm watching football and stuff like that, like how often do you really see the cheerleaders on screen?
And look at that picture. You know, don't they always say like the Adam's apple or something? You know, you don't really see that
No.
on him, her. I don't, I just don't know. But that's come to an end. Somebody else will take her place.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere.
Oh yeah. That's actually crazy.
But man, I just want my sports to be left alone. I just want my sports. I don't need the NFL and the end racism and painting end racism in the end zone or putting it on the back of a helmet has never done anything to end racism. It's just showboating. It's just for show. It's just try to say, see how wonderful we are. We accept everyone. But it shouldn't be about any of that at all. It should just be about fucking football and knocking people's heads off, and throwing bombs.
Yeah, but
touchdown bombs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I feel like because they're people playing the sports and doing all that, and not robots, they're always gonna have small things that are always gonna be brought up, whether that be racism, bullying, CTE, transient, like whatever it be. It's never gonna be just about football or just about baseball
get that.
and stuff like that.
And look, there was a time when it needed to be. Because barriers needed to be broken down. Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I think where I'm at, and at least my generation, why it bothers us so much, is because we're just ready to go back to what we thought we were trying to achieve, and that is to not judge anyone based on their color, their race, their ethnicity, their sexuality, just none of it. That just based on merit. Just how good are you? That a white person buying into Martin Luther King's The Dream, when that stuff wouldn't matter. We actually believed and wanted to achieve it. Or at least a good number of us did. And that's why, like, we can't keep, it's hard to keep over and over what they do with it, using it as a weapon and then trying to get past it. You know, even on the other side, you know, we had what some people maybe don't believe in it, but reverse racism for a while. That was the whole having numbers set, that you had to have so many people of this color or that color, and doing all that kind of stuff. And so people who were qualified weren't getting something because they were the wrong color. And they needed to fill the quota of a certain number of somebody else. And both were wrong. The initial racism and discrimination that people faced was wrong. And then we swung to the other side to try to equal things out or bring some fairness. But now we're at a point where we just got to accept that it's never going to exactly equal out, or that the time is now to let's just be done. Let's just be done with it. Just be done with racism, period, to the best we can. It'll still be there.
I was about to say, I don't think that's a plausible.
No, but I think it is, as far as the best that we can, for our focus to be on merit and somebody's character, and not favoring anyone, not favoring white people or
Yeah,
black
but
people,
I mean,
not favoring anyone.
whether it's going to be about skin tone or like sect or what do you call it, gender or whatever. There's humans naturally are always going to. I mean, we've talked about this before. Humans naturally are always going to be quote unquote racist in one way or another. Like I think I think it's a very unrealistic view to believe that humans can get to the point where they're.
Here's the thing, though. This is what I mean by this. We give voice, and it's a very we allow that voice to be very loud to some groups that are less than 1% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to end.
Well,
making it, because you can't eliminate that 1%, man. You just can't eliminate that.
Well, that's I guess that's where like a lot of it stems from. Is a lot of people feel like those people that are in that 1% are very underrepresented. That we're just gonna completely ignore those. Like, and I think that's what like a lot of people are kind
but
of.
Now
like,
they're getting 80% of the attention.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like I want it reversed. It's not. It shouldn't be a primary focus. That's my hope. I just believe in what Martin Luther King said. That's all. I actually believe it. Maybe I'm stupid for believing it, but that's what I'd like to see. I thought the whole idea was to work towards that. And we literally were for a while. We literally were. It's because, again, that's what I've explained. That's what I grew up with. And that's why it's so hard for me to see this where we're going backwards. When I don't want to go backwards. I want to keep making it better. But
it's a hard thing.
It is hard
to quote unquote make better, because like what is quote unquote better in that situation?
Well, okay, well, let me tell you. You know what's better? That somebody can hurt you with words, but that's not the same as somebody hurting you by not allowing you to live in an area that you can afford to live.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really think most of the restrictions now are based on money and not color of skin.
Yeah.
That you can't live in a certain place because you just can't afford to.
Yeah.
But where it would be racist to me is if you can't afford to live there,
mm-hmm.
if you can't afford to live in that suburb and you want your kids to have access to good schools and you want to be there in a predominantly white area
mm-hmm.
because of the quality of life in that area, but you're denied that opportunity because of the color of your skin and not have anything to do with your status of what you do for a living or how
mm-hmm.
much you make.
Yeah.
Okay. That's racism that really affects somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody calling you a word is stupid. It's dumb, but it's not keeping you from having a good job. It's not keeping you from getting an education. So that is improvement because people were stopped from doing those things. And I think it's important to note that to not put words that people say and equate that racism with racism that really held people back and put people down. Is that a good
I get you.
Explanation how I feel about it?
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I get what you're saying for sure.
What part?
Because I don't agree in the aspect of I believe that it is not necessarily like, hey, we're going to deny your application for a loan because you're black or brown or
mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. But it gets to the point where if you are in predominantly, and again, this might just be from experience and from
mm-hmm.
stories I've heard from people, but when you do move to predominantly white neighborhoods and areas like a
mm-hmm.
business or whatever it be, it's just predominantly more white. I'm not saying everyone, but you will almost guaranteed run into situations where you're kind of being forced in a way, not necessarily forced, but you're being influenced to act a certain way or to not be able to be, or what's the word I'm looking for? To express your way of being, I guess is the best way. Again, my brain's not in the best right now, but again, I could be just talking from experience, and it could be completely different because, again, I've only lived in certain areas or whatever, but it is not necessarily like very in your face type of thing, but it's like subtle. And I feel like that's why nowadays everything's so focused on like the small stuff or this or that, because the major racism or whatever you want to call it isn't happening as much or very frequently, but there's a lot of minor racism, like what's the best way to say it? Like minor jabs.
I know, but I'm just saying that there's a big difference between the two.
I agree.
Quality
I
of
agree
life.
with that.
That's what I'm saying, is there's a big difference between quality of life. But let's not build this up like this is still the same as it was before and that no progress has been made because we have.
Yeah.
It's been tremendous. And then just continue to make that better. To use, you know what? Remember I said to bring shame back?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. You know what you do to racists? Shame them. Call them out.
But that's what people do, though. That's
I don't think people do that enough.
Like people get a little bit. I think the people that do that tend to push it a little bit more than it should be. But I think that's like a big thing, like in like a lot of that stuff, right? Is like you're gonna call them out for that. You're gonna make them look. But the thing is, shame only works if the person receiving the shame feels shameful.
That's true, but when people are affected a lot by I'm a big believer in not letting what other people think of you affect you. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that people are affected and do allow themselves to be affected by what other people think.
Yeah.
So that's where it can be useful.
And I feel like that's kind of where I'm like disagreeing with your statement, is like, although we would love to say like, hey, they're just words, they're not gonna, like, if we're gonna be realistic, like the majority of people in this world are gonna be offended by a word or a statement.
They may be, but again, that doesn't stop you. No, you can't let that. You can't let yourself be a victim because somebody called you a word.
I agree with that.
You have to, because everybody has these struggles. You have to set that aside. They're the asshole. Fuck them and go do your thing. Mm-hmm. Same if you're overweight. You got to put that aside. Go do what you need to do. Get your shit together. Get fit. Get healthy. And fuck this person over here.
Yeah.
Or do it despite them, or do it because of them. Let that fuel you to do better, that you can't be stopped because of their words. Even if they would like to, they have no power over you.
Yeah.
And we build on that.
Yeah. And
all I'm saying is build on that.
And to go off of that, right? And I feel like that's why it would become almost nearly impossible to kind of feel like things like that won't affect people. Because again, like, if the same way you're using those words as motivation, like, it's like if you're in the mentality you have to be able to walk around and just take whatever it be, whatever, those people typically aren't, you're not going to be the nicest person either, right? So like the type of mentality you need to have to be able to just use fuel like that for motivation also are the same people that are going to be a little bit more aggressive and stuff like that.
Goggins.
Okay.
Would put together like clips of people saying shit about him. Mm-hmm. And listen to it and run up.
David Goggins is like one in like a billion.
I know, but I'm just saying to have that.
If everyone walking around was a David Goggins, I don't know if that'd be good or bad. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know if that'd be good or bad. I don't know either. But to some degree, you got to have a little bit of that,
the grit,
a little bit of that in you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Because again, and I'm just saying, don't treat things like they haven't changed, and don't treat it. Words and actions are not the same. They're just not. Liberals seem to care more about words, and conservatives seem to care more about actions. And Dawn has learned that about me. I do not give a motherfuck what you say to me. I care about what you do. And I only care about what you say in relationship to what you do. Is what you're doing what you said you were going to do? Are you backing that up? But if you just tell me something doesn't mean shit to me. Show me.
Yeah.
Show me. Because if you tell me one thing, but you do a different thing, then you're just shit. Not a thing. Show me. And I think actions matter. And because I'll change my mind. I'll say things in a moment of being unhappy, a moment of anger, and have to deal with it. And I've learned to deal with it and control the anger and just remove myself for whatever period of time, a minute, 5 minutes, whatever I need to just regather myself. But at the time, I might say or be thinking some things.
Yeah. Everyone does it.
And that I'm not going to follow through on.
Yep. That's the difference, is following through with the thoughts.
So I might say, because I've been accused of that, where in relationships before, that I might say something that would be considered violent, but I didn't actually do it.
Yeah.
Just like I've made references out here about burying somebody in the desert.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a common phrase. Yeah.
But, as far as anybody knows, I haven't done it. I just want to leave that ambiguity out there. I have not done it, as far as you know. And what matters is what I've done or not done. So just because I said I'd like to see that person,
it doesn't necessarily mean that it's happened.
They're probably still around, as far as you know. That's what I mean. I don't know. Let's save this for next show, because I think we should get Ron Harris to come on for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
we should
love that. Yeah,
reach out to him and see if he'd be willing to, while we're doing the live, to jump on for 10, 15 minutes and talk about something going on in the bodybuilding world that just look crazy. Just a little crazy, and share that. I think it goes along with the other things in some ways of what we've been talking about.
Oh, yeah. I would say so.
Good. All right. I don't know if this is useful to y'all, but if it is, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share, spread the word. This is just, look, you need something to kill your time, right? You need something to kill your time. And terrestrial radio isn't doing it so much anymore. And maybe my rambling will help you get from one place to another. Might be interesting, give you some things to think about, or even hate on me for, or disagree with me.
We'll accept the hate. We'll accept the hate.
I only care if you listen. If you're listening and yelling and saying, Troy is so wrong about that, he's such an asshole, he doesn't know that.
Come in. Comment on the live stream. So get involved. Get involved.
Get involved. No, we want that. Please do that. We still love you. For sure. But everybody have a great start to the week. All right. Let's see what gets done. Let's root for the country this week. God bless. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.